You need to learn to put all the stuff, set it aside is what I'm trying to say. Don't let the distractions clutter you up. Don't let hurt feelings. To me, if you're broken and vulnerable, that's one of the best opportunities to find peace in the Lord. I'm not saying you can't be doing great and find peace in God, but the Lord is yearning for you to have a relationship with Him. I have found many times when I've drifted like many away from the Lord. I thought I was all that. I had my prideful moments. A lot of people may not see it when they talk to me or interact with me. They go, "There's no way Tyler could have been like that." Oh, yes, I can. And I've had my moments. Trust me, and I'm ashamed because my faith was not strong. Three, two, one. Welcome to Standing Strong with Waylon and Ashley.
Welcome back to Standing Strong. This is the 72nd episode. Ashley, what is up?
Not much, Waylon. What's going on with you there, buddy?
Not a whole lot, Ashley. What an amazing interview last week from Ivor. That was an inspiring episode, wasn't it, Ashley?
Yes, it was. That was beyond inspiring. It was inspiring. It was breathtaking. Just overall, wow. I'm still in total, utter shock over the whole thing because Ivar really gave his life story and is such an inspiration, not only to us, but to others as well, with everything he's got going on and everything he's accomplished. It's just absolutely mind blowing and takes the words
Absolutely.
away. There's no words to describe it, honestly. It's too
Right?
hard to choose just one or two.
Yep. I agree with you. In this episode, we are interviewing our commercial person, our commercial voiceover, Tyler Peters. How is it going to be for you to finally meet Tyler Peters?
This is going to be very interesting and awesome. So I'm excited to meet Tyler. And again, from a couple weeks ago, I am beyond thankful that Tyler filled in for me. So thank you very much, Tyler, while I was under the weather. That was much appreciated.
And now we are going to reveal our third review winner for this episode. I am going to give it over to Ashley Perry.
Welcome back, everybody. We're excited to announce the third review of the week winner. This week is Kathy Bartlett. Kathy comes on to say that she is extremely proud of Waylon as she's one of Waylon's former teachers. Waylon has overcome many challenges and has made a positive podcast to enable others to also reach their own potential. Thank you very much for those positive words, Kathy.
That's right, Ashley. Thank you, Kathy Berkeley, for that amazing review. If you would like to have your review featured on an episode on Standing Strong, make sure to leave us a review on our Facebook page or our official website, standingstrongpodcast.com, in the review section page. Wow, Ashley, it's been amazing to see that we had over 12,000 followers combined on all social media, and through all social media combined, we have 1 million reviews. What does that mean to you?
It's mind blowing, Waylon. It's a blessing to know that there's that many people out there watching, listening, reviewing, skimming through whatever they're doing. with not only your very talented skills with the website, but also with us promoting and reposting and sharing our episodes out there to just spread the positivity and our little, hopefully, glimpse of hope for anybody who's listening that needs that little sliver of positivity in life. It gives us the positivity in numbers to know that we are improving, promoting, and helping with all the stuff that we do, and others are helping do the same and getting our message across.
I agree with you. Are you ready, Ashley, to get started with Tyler Peters?
Yes, Waylon, I'm beyond ready. Are you ready, Waylon?
I am. So, ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn ready. Sit back and enjoy Tyler Peters' episode on Standing Strong. Here is Steve Fox with Tyler's introduction.
Tyler Peters used to co-host Standing Strong with Waylon. He loves Jesus Christ and enjoys singing. Tyler was formerly a commentator for CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling, which is based out of Florida. His family, friends, church, and pets mean a lot to him. One of his passions is representing the Columbia Central Lady Lions as their PA announcer. Tyler hosts 2 podcasts, Tyler's Takedowns and Tyler Talks Music, on DTP Productions via the SJP World Media Network. It's Waylon and Ashley's pleasure to welcome Tyler Peters as their 72nd guest on Standing Strong.
We are on with Tyler Peters. What's up, Tyler?
What's going on, Waylon and Ashley? It's great to be here. I'm so honored to be a guest on Standing Strong, and I cannot wait. This ought to be a very intriguing interview. So thank you both for having me on.
Thank you very much for covering for me for a couple weeks, Tyler. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, no problem. You're very welcome, Ashley. I'm glad to see you are on the mend and better. No problem. I was happy to fill in. It's so good to see you. So this will be a treat. Thank you both.
Yeah.
You're absolutely welcome. Tyler, explain to all the viewers watching what it was like for you being in Ashley's spawn from episode 33 all the way up to episode 50.
It was a great experience, but it was intimidating because I've been away from the program for a lengthy time, and Ashley does such a great job, and yourself, Waylon. I must admit, there was nerves to step into it again. It's been a long time, but you made it feel so effortlessly and smooth with the transitions and the way you all ask questions, and the guests always help with that. And so it was a fun time. So thank you. And it was also very educational, inspirational. I think I would add that. There was definitely some tones where it would change and get very serious, but overall, it was a good time. And so Ashley, she has knocked it out of the park, but this is tough, folks. So I was a little bit intimidated, I must say and admit, to be back, and even as a guest, I'm still a little bit nervous.
When we was on together, Tyler, there was a lot of ups and downs, but we managed to get through it every time we did an episode, especially when we got the opportunity to have Lillian Garcia as our 50th guest. That was a dream come true, and it was an awesome episode.
It was. It was like something out of a fever dream. My goodness, it's Lillian Garcia who announces all these WWE stars, and we're wrestling fans, and I want to thank you for that opportunity. And just what you all are doing just inspires me. It motivates inspiration and encourages people. And I want to thank you because it's commendable. I love the guests, hearing their perspective and their story and getting background on each individual. It's been very interesting, but at the same time uplifting. So I appreciate what this program does.
Thank you, Tyler. That means a lot to me. What did it mean to you to see that we have reached 12,000 followers throughout social media combined and reached 1 million views on all social media combined? How does that make you feel to see that accomplishment?
It makes me feel proud of the work you're doing, Waylon and Ashley, and everybody that's
Thank you.
contributed from the guests and so forth and so on. I think it is a tremendous milestone. So congratulations on that, by the way, because social media, you're using it for the positive, and that's not an easy thing to do, especially nowadays. I'm very thrilled for both of you and Waylon and Ashley, as of course, as I address you both in this program. It is, like I aforementioned, it is definitely builds up your self-esteem, your confidence, because we all get stronger because we learn to lean on each other, and it's a great way to start building trust in one another for society and having hope in this world again. So it's a wonderful thing to see the growth of this program and how far you all have come. Uh, it makes my heart feel good. I'll just be honest.
Thank you, Tyler. That means a lot. Now, speaking of bullying, were you a victim of bullying? And if not, what advice would you give to someone out there who is experienced getting bullied and how it will get better in time?
Now, I've not experienced bullying myself per se, but I know of people who have. My advice would be go to somebody, try to confide in them, that a person you trust, a friend, a family member. Maybe it is a pastor, it's a teacher that you can confide in. Just really lean on their understanding, and they can help you comprehend and give you some words of wisdom when you are encountering that situation regarding the bullying. So that would be how I would summarize it. As far as me being the target of a bully, I can't speak to that, but I sure do know of people who have, and it would be my advice to those individuals. And it could be a collective thing as well.
100%. Ashley, do you have anything to add about bullying?
I just know as I myself, I've been on the opposite end of the stick as what Tyler has been, but like he had forementioned, go to somebody that you know you can confide in, whether like he's mentioned a pastor or a teacher or somebody, you know, you got to have that safe space you can go to.
Bullying is not okay and it needs
Mm-mm.
to stop. I was bullying all my life over a speech impediment. And I'm like, if people don't like the way I sound, then don't talk to me, you know? So, yeah, if you experience bullying, go get help and it will get better. And then one day the bullies are gonna come back to you and eventually apologize because they're gonna experience something in their lifetime, making them come back and say, "Oh shoot, I was mean to this person, so I'm gonna apologize to them." Doesn't mean you have to be their best friend, but eventually the bullies are gonna experience something that they're gonna be sorry for bullying you in the past.
I agree. Once again, well said by both of you on the subject of bullying. Yeah, go to somebody. It could be somebody who just needs to know you're a victim of this, and it's a full circle moment because that's a God thing when he can convict the bullies and they show compassion. And like you're saying, Waylon, they come back and they're apologetic. They're showing empathy towards you. Uh, I think that's a beautiful thing
Mhm.
because they're showing their human side. A lot of times, I think bullies are just insecure. It's not right,
Hmm.
but they take out their insecurities on each other because maybe they're jealous in some weird way of something
Yep.
you're good at it, or you have a talent that they don't. And that's the amazing thing about my faith in God. That has helped me, and I know you all have your faith in the Lord, and He's always been the strength that I go to. We're all imperfect. We're all works in progress, but the way that God can bring us all together, I go back to camaraderie. I think I spoke about it when I was with you on a couple weeks ago on the last
Mhm.
program, Waylon, filling in, and it's just very significant. The world needs more of it. There is hope. You can't please everybody, but there's still hope out there. I want people to know that. I think
Yep.
it's easy to say it, but we must believe it. It's got to come from inside, from within, from the heart, and they have to feel it in our spirit as well as physically. And I just wanted to add to all this very important subject matter that we are discussing.
Absolutely, 100%. Talk about your faith in God and give someone out there advice who wants to find God in their life.
My advice would be if they want to find their faith in God and establish a relationship with the Heavenly Father, you need to learn to put all the stuff, set it aside, is what I'm trying to say. Don't let the distractions clutter you up. Don't let hurt feelings. To me, if you're broken and vulnerable, that's one of the best opportunities to find peace in the Lord. I'm not saying you can't be doing great and find peace in God, but the Lord is yearning for you to have a relationship with Him. I have found many times when I've drifted, like many, away from the Lord. I thought I was all that. I had my prideful moments. A lot of people may not see it when they talk to me or interact with me. They go, "There's no way Tyler could have been like that." Oh, yes, I can. And I've had my moments. Trust me. And I'm ashamed because my faith was not strong. And sometimes even when your faith is strong, you find that you're fighting an uphill battle. That's when the enemy comes against you. That's when it's spiritual warfare. It's when people will come
Mhm.
against you because it's a spirit that gets on them. But I have found just going and reading the Word of God, the Bible, going into the Scriptures and praying, doing the fundamental things have assisted me greatly. And it's not only for a new convert, but for somebody who's fallen away from God. It's not that
Mhm.
God leaves us, but we create the distance from Him. And that's a powerful thing when you feel His Holy Spirit. A lot of times I'll listen to worship music. There is nothing wrong with listening to other genres. But when you listen to good worship music that's inspirational and you hear the music, you hear the singers worshiping God and singing a song unto the Lord, it's biblical. That reinvigorates your purpose because you
Mhm.
ask for forgiveness. We have to come to God with a forgiving attitude because it all, starts with us. We're our own worst enemy at times. I have found that out firsthand many times. Mental health is a prime example of that because we always want to blame somebody else. Well, listen, we got to take some of the responsibility as to why we're not seeing a change in our life. And I just feel it. I mean, that's why I love this program because as I'm speaking, God can move. And I would just say nobody is ever too good for God.
Mhm.
And listen, if you feel like you're a heathen and you're full of sin and you're not worth it, listen, God loves you. And you're the best thing that could ever happen to the Lord because He's wanting to have a relationship with you. And actually, He's the best thing that can happen to us, but it works both ways. So I wanted to make sure I clarified things there. But that's how I would say it. Just ask for forgiveness. Go to a pastor, go to a friend, how we were talking about before, and talk to the Lord. Be empathetic, apologize for your sins. We really need to be forgiven daily. I try to do better about asking God for forgiveness on a daily basis because I know
Right.
there's going to be
Yeah.
something I've said or done that are going to have consequences. So I better get right with the Lord. And that's the thing. He's wanting that relationship with you. But we gotta do the work sometimes. It can't always be waiting on Him to do it,
Mhm.
because He's also waiting for us to meet Him in that moment. So that would be my advice. I just felt like I needed to explain it a little bit, and hopefully that made sense and was understandable. But that's how I would approach it. But somebody else may have a different approach, and guess what? God can still bless that method as well.
At this time, everyone, we will be back with Standing Strong after this commercial break.
Waylon and Ashley will be back with the Standing Strong podcast after this break. It's my pleasure to introduce myself, Tyler Peters, as the voiceover for this commercial. I was the former co host for this podcast. We hope you're enjoying this episode so far. Waylon and Ashley are two friends being a light and supportive leader for our daily life struggles. No one should feel alone or worthless. Let's be the change the world needs together. And I'll add this, it's an inspirational program when you're talking about standing strong. And as a former co host, I can vouch for this. Now let's hear a quote from the new co host, Ashley, beginning with quote 1. I am resilient. I try my best. I value my life. I am not perfect. I never give up. I am empathetic. I am a warrior, ready to conquer. I am not broken. I am loving. I take things one day at a time. I am independent. I am human. I'm a survivor. Quote 2. I don't know what you're going through, but it's going to be okay. The windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror for a reason, because what's in front of you is so much more important than what's behind you, quoted by the famed singer Jelly Roll. Here's some podcasts that inspire Waylon and all of us, beginning with Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia, Gall TV with SoCal Val, Mickey James, and Lisa Marie Varon, the Culture Shocked podcast with Corey, Mike, and Adrian. And here's some podcasts that I host. Tyler's Takedowns and Tyler Talks Music are part of DTP Productions in association with SJP World Media. They're all just great programs. As you can see, Waylon and Ashley are on this powerful mission in helping other people know they are worth it. I'm Tyler Peters. Now back to the Standing Strong podcast.
We are back with Standing Strong. Wow, Tyler. That was amazing advice. Get into details with us about your experience singing at your church.
Well, the experience of singing at church has been a blessing. I'll tell you all a funny story. I don't know that I've shared it with Waylon, Ashley, so this is a good opportunity to do so. I was singing in the kids' choir. Actually, I was not singing at first, and then I got to singing because I was one of those kids that didn't want to move his lips. I was just kind of going through the motions, and I'm ashamed of that because our teacher was one of the sweetest people in the world. Her name was Andrea. Miss Andrea was a wonderful teacher, and she was over our kids' choir. And it started actually, she gave me speaking parts, narrating, and then I found out I want to sing. I
Yeah.
love music, but I never had the confidence, I guess. I was always a little shy. And then when I started singing, it's like, you know what, Lord, I'm enjoying this. I want to pursue it. I want to practice it. I want to try to get better. And luckily I had learned from a lot of great singers around those choirs and ensembles in churches that I still do to this day. And it gives me therapy, just like if I'm listening to a song, when I'm singing a song, especially to God. And I'm not trying to sound overly religious. I'm not forcing faith on anybody, but you do. It's hard to describe and put it into words, but the Lord just, his Holy Spirit will just saturate you. That you can just feel the presence of God when you start singing to him. And sometimes it's easy to go through those motions as an adult when you hear the
Right.
choir or a soloist or somebody playing maybe a piano solo. And the problem is we're not making enough of the connection. We didn't allow
Mhm.
ourselves to let loose. And then when you do, you feel that love, you feel that power of the Lord. And that is something that has gave me such a passion when I do sing. Now, there'll be moments I can't due to other opportunities, obviously, but when I can, I love to sing unto the Lord. And I just try my best. That's all you can do. Sure, there's going to be anxiety. That's natural to have butterflies, but it's just amazing to know that I was not going to be a singer, or at least that's what I thought, but that's not what the Lord intended for my life. So I'm glad I didn't listen to myself. I listened to God
Mhm.
because He had other plans. And he was like, you know what? For a kid that's just not moving his lips, and now you've got speaking parts. Now you're going to get interested in singing. Who knew? And so I've done some solos at church. I mean, who would have thought I'd be announcing or podcasting? So God has been good. And to make connections with Waylon and Ashley and all these wonderful people, and have such a great family who I'm thankful for and friends. It's just been tremendous, and I can't thank God enough for it, and thank everybody else for it, because we all
Right.
need to support each other. But yeah, back to the singing though, not to get off of it. It blesses my life. My heart feels good. I mean, I don't even have to be the one singing. I can listen to a gospel choir or some contemporary Christian music or whatever uh, you like, and it stirs something down deep inside of me, and it's same when I'm singing and giving God praise and worshiping Him, coming to Him with adoration as part of the
Mhm.
love for Jesus Christ. So that's my response.
Thank you, Tyler. A great response.
On just like a normal daily basis, Tyler, like do you find like any small little signs that you see from God that might like uplift your day if you notice like you're having an off day or anything?
That's a great question. I think we all can relate to it. This question, as a matter of fact, Ashley, there are hints. Just like going to a verse, maybe I see it on the Bible app, on my phone, or I read it in the actual physical form, regarding the Bible. Maybe my family compliments me. Maybe it's during a practice session on the keyboard, or I'm speaking to someone and they just have a word from God, or they may not realize it and they just speak something and it just resonates with me. And so there are, those little subtle hints that I believe God does use. And I agree with you. And that's a fantastic question, by the way. And I'll say this: when I'm feeling down and discouraged, and you overthink things so much, as we all do, I feel like when I'm in a quiet place and can get away from the noise, and I just start meditating on the Lord and I pray, I read scripture, I may be out walking outside the house or just with the dogs or the cats and enjoying nature with the animals, or even inside the home. And maybe I'll turn on a worship song, or maybe I don't need any music at all and just need to listen to the words that God is speaking to me and over my life. And I have found, you're right, there are little tidbits that the Lord will use to help pick me up. And that doesn't have to necessarily be on a bad day. It could be indifferent or a good day, but all of
Yeah.
it applies. So I fully concur with that. God does use a lot of different aspects of our life, because remember, the word says that God does work in mysterious ways, and it's very
Yep,
mysterious.
Yes, sir.
absolutely, 100%. How was your experience like when you commentate for CCW?
The experience was like a dream come true, like Lillian Garcia, being a wrestling fan, Waylon. As you know, uh, it just helped me grow. I always wanted to commentate sports or wrestling, or whether it was baseball. And I'm doing the public address announcing for us, the Lady Lions for Columbia Central. So I've got the hat I'm representing in case they watch this. And so that's been a thrill. And they're all growing experiences, and especially with the wrestling commentary. I tried ring announcing. I did okay. I'm sure the more I would do it, I would get better. Luckily, I had a more experienced gentleman who was great, and he was a big help. Shout out to him. But CCW is a great promotion. They help me a lot. I mean, you'd have wrestlers sit on color commentary, as you see if you watch Raw or SmackDown, like you see the various programs, or across all the promotions. That's pretty much how it's set up. And they were a big help, because I'm not going to be able to comment on a lot of the wrestling knowledge they have, being a wrestler. So it was great to just play off that and try to learn the straight play by play, whether it was for the good guy, or I thought what the bad guy did was wrong. Of course, there's morals in the story, and it was all entertaining. And I even had to take a headbutt. Thank God that was one time, because they trained me, and it was going to be a tombstone, and
Oh,
I deserved.
jeez.
I'm laughing now, because I should have got destroyed, and I did, because of headbutt. But imagine the tombstone. I mean, just seeing Tyler, just this big mass man, just take
Right.
me, and that's what he did. He headbutted me, and I get the reaction from the crowd, even a smaller crowd, was unbelievable. Though when they
Yeah.
wanted to see me get a headbutt, I mean, I was trying to be security. It was funny, just as knowing how I'm not this big intimidating guy, anyways, and I'm going to get in their world. But they've just been welcoming, and to have all the great commentators. I've got friends like Ted from a podcast, Chris from another podcast, and they did wrestling. I got to do it with Chris. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do it with Ted. That was my fault on that end. But they were all experienced, and they helped me along the journey. and so did Nelio, who runs CCW, and Dan, and the people, the men and women, they were so informative, and they helped me out tremendously. They motivated me. They gave me a lot to choose from and learn and how to do this and that. And there was more I could still learn. So I can't say enough complimentary things about Coastal Championship Wrestling and for those opportunities. And I know I've said it before. I probably mentioned it in an interview with Waylon Ashley as Kevin Sullivan. I
Yeah.
mean, to have the moment to learn from a legend like him. I got emotional when I did a tribute on a wrestling podcast part, and because that experience, and then he passed away. It's not
Oh,
like I
yeah.
knew him personally, and I don't mean to rehash this all the time, but if you watch wrestling and know anything about Kevin Sullivan, from behind the scenes to what you saw on the camera, it meant more than words. So those tears started flowing, and I just couldn't thank the management enough because I don't mean to get carried away, but as a wrestling fan and as someone who didn't think he could actually fulfill this destiny of at least trying to understand commentary from any line of work, whether that's sports, whether that is news, whether it is wrestling. It was profound. It left an impact on my life, and I'll forever be grateful to Mr. Sullivan. Rest in peace. Sadly, we lost him back in 2024. And then CCW, they're still going strong today in Nashville and in Florida. And I recommend everybody check them out. There's a lot of great commentators that still call the action there, and a lot of great commentators who are like me that have just moved on. Life just writes other chapters, and it's just part of it. And I can never repay CCW for all they have done for me. And that was a blessing from God. It really was.
Well,
Yes.
Tyler, I'm glad you had that experience when you did it. Now,
Oh, thank you
speaking
so much.
on, you're welcome, you're welcome. Now, speaking on anxiety and depression, how do you cope with that? And what advice would you give someone out there who is dealing with anxiety and depression and how it will get better?
You have to allow yourself to once again separate yourself, have some distance, because you can't just stay bunched up and in groups, and there's a difference. There's going to be a time you're going to have the support system, and you definitely need to lean into that. But there's also a time, once again, it goes back to you got to fix yourself. You got to take some responsibility, and you got to start looking at some of the problems and why these issues arose in the first place. Where do I need to start? Where's the intermediate, the middle part? Where's the ending? And I go to the Lord for it. I know it's going to sound like the same answer, but I go to God because He provides all our answers. He is the Almighty. So I definitely pray to the Lord. I go to friends. I go to family. Maybe it's a stranger that can help you out. You may not have to have a connection prior to them. I mean, you
Right.
just never know. It's a great question. It's very serious subject matter, and just personally, how I would deal with it is I would just try to not think anymore on it. As hard
Right.
as that may be, you have to learn to put it behind you. But I think that comes with, friends like yourselves, going to other people, confiding in them, and of course, confiding to the one who made us, the Creator, God. And that would be how I would summarize all of that. It's really hard sometimes to go into too much detail because if it's been a while, you're trying to recall, but we've all faced it. I mean,
Oh,
here
yeah.
recently, I'll be honest, I've been down. You can't see it because it's easy to wear the mask, right? Have the facade, and it's easy to go, oh, I've got everything going okay, everything's good when it's not. Down deep, well, that's not right. Something's off,
Absolutely.
and so
Yeah.
I'm just thankful for people like yourselves and the Lord and my family, and I'm thankful for softball, for announcing softball. This may sound strange, but I think there's something therapeutic about announcing. I can, because you're around people, you're in a fun atmosphere, and though you're nervous, I think you're in that announcer's booth, and you can just be in a zone, but you don't have to be too fixated, and
Right.
you're able to collaborate with people and just to get
Exactly.
out sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
you being in that atmosphere and stuff, you pick up on the positive vibes and whatnot, and it's a confidence booster. Because like I'll notice being around Waylon or like other people we may or may not be on other platforms with. It's just a different feeling, you know. Or even like when I do what I do for work, there's days you just feel really bummed out, and being around somebody that can help you not escape but like disassociate with the depression and anxiety and get you upbeat and going, it makes a difference.
Oh, it does. Well said. I concur. I mean, yeah, when you get people that it's fun, you can be loose because a lot of times we want to tighten up, and that's not healthy. It's just it's
Mm-mm.
better to not overanalyze everything and just enjoy what we're doing. I had a friend that we have these discussions, and I'll keep them private, but they're helpful because this is one of the many things we discuss, just like on this program, and this is where you find encouragement from other
Yes.
people, and
Absolutely.
that's the Lord working through something that doesn't always have to be ministry, but yet it is because you can still, let people know about the Lord, but you don't have to throw your faith on them. The Lord gives you that opportunity. I've never quite agreed with that, but at the same time, with softball, with recreational stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be announcing. You could, whether you're playing softball, whether you like basketball, or you may not like sports. Maybe you draw. I mean, it could be any kind of hobby or a profession or occupation. As
Hmm.
long as you love it and you're not letting it dictate your life, because I think that also creates anxiety and depression, if we're going to be honest, and it can become overwhelming. So, no, I love how you phrase that, Ashley, and also
You.
Waylon. These are terrific questions because I'm having to think, which is a good thing. Sometimes that's scary. I'll add some humor to it.
Right.
Well,
All right. At this time, I'm gonna throw it over to Ashley.
like, have you ever encountered or dealt with any like domestic or narcissistic abuse or anything like that, Tyler, or helped anybody through it?
I'm not, went through any domestic violence or abuse per se, and narcissistic. Yeah, I've dealt with a few people, but you know what? Amazingly, I've still loved them. Now, sometimes people may say, "How can you?" They'll ask the question, but you just do. You do that from afar, though. That's the difference. You don't allow
Hmm.
yourself to be close to those individuals. You can forgive them and still love them and pray for them. That's all. Sometimes that's the best remedy right there. But to help somebody who's went through abuse, you just want to love them. It's kind of a hard ordeal because you're like, what do I say? I mean, how
Hmm.
can I counsel them? I mean, if we're going to be honest, it is, and I know we are. But I would just be in the mindset of, listen, respectfully, it's none of my business. But since you've made it my business, which sometimes that's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. You need to find a good way to get out of this relationship. If there is domestic abuse, hence the violence, because
Mhm.
we all stand against that. There's no call for it. I've never understood why people have to resort to it. I think that's a spirit that's demonic. Is when people, because I'm not saying that everything has to be spiritual, but you wonder what can possess people to do some of these heinous things, and that's still a heinous act. When you think, oh, I can beat on somebody, especially a family member. I don't care if you don't know them; it's wrong, or a friend, especially. It's not,
Right.
and sometimes abuse is not always physical, it's mental. I mean,
Mhm.
that's another aspect too. It's not always just in the physical means, it's also very mental. If you're berating somebody or expecting somebody just to cave in all the time because it's your way, then we have to be careful. I mean, that could be viewed as narcissistic too. I mean, when you
Yes.
think about it.
Yeah, it's a rough world out there, that's for sure. It's not the pretty pictures that are always painted. So
Oh,
it's
it
tough.
is.
Mhm.
It's definitely a crazy world.
Mhm.
Now, speaking of someone who is beating themselves up over their body size, do you struggle with your weight? Is it easy for you to maintain where you want to be? Or do you struggle along with that, but you don't let it affect you in a negative way because you know it's gonna eventually get better if you put in the work? Is there any advice you will give someone out there who is beating themselves up over their weight or size, or if they're not tall enough, or if they're short but they want to be tall? What advice will you give someone out there with that topic?
My advice would be, sure, I've struggled myself. There was a time I was really overweight, and still have struggles today. I'm actually got back on the health kick because I'm like, okay, these clothes are not fitting anymore. Talking about taking responsibility, I need to start doing something. And I can tell I'm feeling better. Hopefully, I see progress. But the main thing, even when you don't see progress, is just to stay encouraged. As you said, don't but we shouldn't let looks always determine our success. Sure, it's great to feel good and want to look good, but we
Mhm.
can't compare ourselves to everybody else. Sometimes it's just
Right.
genetics, but at the same time, if we're struggling with obesity or weight problems, then we could do something about it. It's called cutting back, dieting, and exercising, and sometimes those things don't always work at times, so it's easier said than done, but also got to be a mindset. It's just as much mental as it is physical. It's like I'm not going to eat this today, what I used to eat yesterday or a week ago. Let's just put it this way: it's common sense, because it's like, oh, I can have a Big Mac or I can have a salad. I mean,
Mhm.
it's as easy as that. Or maybe I can take the buns off if you're cutting carbs, and you can still have the meat part of it.
Right.
There's ways of cutting, whether it's carbs, calories, and there's ways of getting active. I think that's also, you got to marry the two together and also
Yep.
have a great plan. And it's not that I haven't had my struggles. And that'll create depression if you're not careful, because everything is so focused on the outside that it should be focused on the inside too. But I think if you're going to do something, if you're that unhappy with yourself, you have to make the changes that are necessary to get you healthier. And that's what I'm doing.
100%.
There are sometimes I'll look back and go look at certain pictures and go, "Oh man, I was motivated because I looked a lot better then." And not to sound braggadocious, what am I from California all of a sudden? But maybe I'm making up words. But anyways, to brag, in other words, but it does help give me encouragement. But at the same time, I can't look back at those pictures and expect it to happen now. I've got to start with the present and working on myself. For me to see the progress. But sure, I've had struggles with weight. There were times, man, I didn't even want to go out many places because I was obese. I mean, if you saw some older pictures of me, I was a lot heavier, and especially being shorter, you carry your weight worse. I feel
Mhm.
like, but then I got motivated. I moved to an apartment with my family, but we went down to it was Biloxi, Mississippi. We ended up living down there a little while for a couple of years actually, and they had this little fitness area. I didn't even do weights at the time. I just did cardio, just walked on the treadmill, the elliptical. I still enjoy those things, by the way. And I just started cutting my portions down to where hardly ate anything. I didn't try to starve myself. I'd still get little snacks here or there, but make sure they were healthy. But I was going at least uh, building myself to where I could go maybe 20 to 30 minutes or longer on those machines. Speaking of the elliptical and treadmill, and walk around the apartment complex down there too. Also, walking's a great exercise additionally. And it started out with that. And I went from, I forget the number of weight, it was up there. And then I dropped down to, I want to say I probably lost about 80 pounds or more. I mean,
Wow.
and people
Wow.
were like, wow, you've lost a bunch of weight. And that made me feel good naturally. I was like,
Mhm.
well, that was the goal. And so you can do it. I mean, and then sometimes it may be the age. I'm older now, so it may be a little harder, or maybe it'll be better. I don't know, but it starts in your head with a mindset. It starts with moderation, drinking lots of water, uh, and also knowing the right foods. And that can still be tricky because sometimes they'll say, "Oh, these are good for you," when they turn out bad. So I get it. It can be very complicated, but just hold out hope that you can do it.
Yeah.
We can't have this attitude of saying, "Oh, we can't do something," and I've fallen into that. We all have the ability to do something and dream bigger. We just got to go after it. It just may take time. It may take months, years, however, but
Absolutely.
in the end, it's going to pay off because it took me
Mhm.
a lot of time to get all that weight off. So I want to uplift somebody. I've definitely had some weight issues. In fact, I'm having to get some weight off now as I'm on this
Yep.
podcast. And used to that would be hard for me to admit, but while we're on
Right.
the topic, sometimes you gotta address those issues,
You
and it's
do.
Yes.
good.
You
It's
do.
healthy. Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
absolutely. I have struggled a lot. I had ups and downs, up and down with losing and gaining weight. Sauna was a big issue because I always drunk sauna a lot, aka pop, whatever people call it these days. And it is a struggle, but if you put your mindset to it, it will get better and you will lose the weight. You just have to stay strong and positive and believe that you can lose the weight, or
Mhm.
will you want to be in your life?
No, that's right,
And I'm
Waylon.
pretty sure Ashley, me and her talked about losing weight and all that and gaining it. And we beat each other up over it because we was like, "Hey, you're not supposed to be drinking pop, but you're
Yep.
drinking pop." And I'm like, "Yeah." So we kind of support each other and get each other advice to keep going and don't let the pop stop you from doing where you want to be in your
Right.
weight.
We
You
give
have
each other
anything
that.
you would like to discuss, Ashley, with this topic? Do you have any questions?
It's just hard. I mean, like Tyler said, you really have to put mind over matter and focus on the little things and make them the big things. So,
I was just going to add that it's accountability. I think that's great when you have people that you trust, that you're friends with, or that they can be a relative, and you just hold each other accountable. And you don't have to do it in a mean way, but like you all are saying, you're supporting each other. You're like, wait a minute, you didn't need that, did you? You're not trying to judge them, but you're helping them because well, this if you're wanting to lose weight, you really don't need that kind of drink, or you don't need to eat this. I mean, you don't want to be the food police, but at the same time, realistically, you're going to have to moderate and really eliminate certain things out of your everyday habits to be successful. So I think that's a great thing you two are doing.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you.
thank you.
So, Tyler, wow, amazing advice so far on this podcast. What advice would you give someone out there dealing with peer pressure because people are trying to make them do things that they do not want to do, whether it's drinking, smoking, or doing stuff that is inappropriate? What advice would you give someone out there to not listen to the people telling you to do this if you do not want to do that?
I would just tell that person to get away from them. You don't have to be rude about it. You can be respectful and still be friends with the individual. But if it's you're feeling any kind of pressure to do something that you don't want to do, I think it's as simple as just getting away from it, telling them no, and if they don't understand it, well, listen, we're not going to be able to hang out for a while. Until you can respect my boundaries. I mean, because I've respected yours, so it ought to work both ways if you're going to be a true friend, and that's how I would direct that. I'm getting pretty much to the point on that. I think that's pretty self evident. Is how you
Absolutely.
dissolve those problems.
Yeah, you have to find a way to tell them no. There are those of us, myself included. Thankfully, I've learned to deal with it in other ways through my current journey of sobriety, but still with having that addictive personality with the peer pressure added on it makes it tough. And you've got to learn to really stick to your roots or turn to somebody that can help you stick to your roots so you don't give in to said person or group of people that are trying to pressure you to do something. There's always a higher power and God to turn to when things really are getting at you.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Well
amen.
said, Ashley. Tyler, go ahead at this time. Go ahead and promote your podcast and what your podcasts are all about.
Sure. Thank you, Waylon. I do a wrestling podcast and a music podcast. The name of the wrestling podcast is Tyler's Takedowns, and the name of the music one is Tyler Talks Music, and they're on the DDP Productions feed, which is a part of SJP World Media. I've had guests. I've had Waylon on the wrestling one. I'll have to get him on a music one, and I'll have to have Ashley if she's interested. But right now we're in a state of transition, so I'm very thankful to still be doing podcasting right now with all the great change that is coming our way regarding my family and of course myself. But yeah, you can find those on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, uh, under DDP Productions. They'll have both programs, Tyler's Takedowns, Tyler Talks Music, and some archived episodes from a program called Back When with Scottish Danny. There's a lot of great UK collaboration along with what's over here in North America, stateside. So it's really neat. It's very international with the podcasting network. So I'd invite everybody to go check it out if you're a wrestling fan, if you like music. Uh, you know, it's got a little bit for everybody. And there's also other great programs on SJP World Media. I'm also co-hosting a great wrestling program that talks current day WWE, and it's called In the Corner with the great Benny Mack, and he's also from England, and he does a superb job. And I'm blessed to be a part of his show when I can be on it.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. Those podcasts, and you will like to check them out. They will be in the description. And now we are gonna flip the table. And at this time, Tyler, you get an opportunity to ask me or Ashley or both of us some questions.
I'll start with Ashley. Ashley, when did you meet Waylon? I'm interested to see how this connection when it first began.
Yeah. I met Waylon in high school. It was what about your freshman year,
Yep,
Waylon,
yep,
roughly?
yep,
So
yep.
yeah, it's been a hot minute. But yeah, I met Waylon in school, and we both were struggling with bullying and stuff. And actually, I think it was somebody was picking on Waylon, and I just happened to go over and say, "Hey, look, enough's enough. Give the guy a break. It's not his fault, you know." So it was, and it just kind of headed off from there. So
Yeah, that's a true friend. I'm so happy to hear you stood up for Waylon. I mean, you both are just very generous people, compassionate, and it shows. I think that's a great answer, and it's real. It's a true response, and that's what this program offers. That's why I
Yep.
love being a guest or being a former co-host, temporary. But I love what Ashley and Waylon are doing with this podcast. But Waylon, I'm going to go to you. I don't know that I've ever asked you this. When did you first become a wrestling fan?
It was back in August 1999. It was probably a week before Lillian Garcia came on as the permanent ring announcer, replacing Howard Finker. And then when I saw Lillian Garcia, and I'm like, wow, there's just something about her because she first came. You can tell she was nervous, but the positive mindset that she had, it just say, wow, she is a strong woman to continue on that day. Ring announcing all these superstars that she has never announced before. She just did it. I don't know how she did it, but she did an amazing job. And I'm like, wow, there's just something about Lillian that I just connected with. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start watching WWF because it was WWF at the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna become a fan of her. I watched WWE 1 week before she debuted, and I wasn't really into it, and I didn't know who to like and stuff. So when I first got into WWE, I was like, Lillian Garcia was my first favorite person out of the WWE. So I just continue watching WWE and follow along with Lily and Garcia. And then we got Trish and Lita and all of them, amazing female stars. And then we had The Rock, we had Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan,
Mm.
John Cena, Kurt Angle, you name it. And it brought attention into my interest, and I just loved Lillian's positivity and her strength to keep doing it even though she was new to it. So I became a fan of WWE around August of 1999, and I am rocking
I,
out my Lita. So
yeah, I was about to say you represent Lita, a great wrestler, and I
Uh-huh.
think it's wonderful, Waylon. Yeah, exactly. Another just brilliant answer. And Lillian Garcia is a great starting point, and all those stars you mentioned. So, Ashley, I'm not sure if you're into wrestling or not, but of course, I'm a big wrestling fan too. And
Yeah, it's hit and miss with me. If Waylon asks me to come over and watch it, I'll go over and watch it. But it's kind of hit and miss, especially, and Waylon's gonna pick on me for it, but especially since The Rock and John Cena are pretty well done with it, and may he rest in peace. But Hulk Hogan's gone, so it's hard to find somebody new to root for. So
mhm. And I
no,
always have
I
to get
see.
on Ashley about
Yeah, I see that.
Chelsea Green.
Oh, Chelsea Green. Well, she's entertaining. I got to give it to her. She cracks me up.
Ashley does not like Chelsea.
Oh, he does not like Chelsea. Well,
it's
that was
okay.
probably a bad word.
No, it's okay. Waylon just knows that his mom's gonna get on him when she watches this now.
Well, hey, and be careful. Don't get mom angry.
Right? Hmm.
I think that's all the questions I've got because I was just going to at least ask one apiece. I'm just happy to be here. So hopefully I'm doing okay.
Yes, you
And
are.
speaking on the question you asked Ashley about how we met and stuff, yes, we met in high school, but life went on and we like got upon. We didn't communicate with each other. We I don't even think we were social media friends for the longest time because
Uh-uh.
I kept my social media to a lemon. And then it was like about 4 years ago, Ashley joined my TikTok live, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's Ashley from school. What's up? So ever since that, we reunited and we reconnected and we became closest friends. And
Yeah.
now we're doing this podcast together. And Ashley has a lot of shoes to fill, replacing the great Tyler Peters.
You can say that again.
No, you're all very kind. I think Ashley's doing a great job, and you're doing phenomenal too, Waylon. I appreciate the kind words, but I don't know. I think you all have filled the shoes and then some. You're doing great. I've been keeping up with the episodes, and I'm such a fan. I'm such a supporter. But
Yep.
I was grateful to be involved and be a guest like I am right now. And so I want to encourage both of you. Ashley, you're doing wonderful, and so are you, Waylon. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep up the great work. Not just good.
Yep.
I would
Thank you.
say
Thank
great.
you.
Yes,
We
thank you.
appreciate that 100%. All right, Tyler, my last thing for you. What's your message for someone watching out there that feels they are non-important in this world and fail to see their purpose in life? What advice would you give to let people know how important they are and to see that they do have a purpose in life?
My advice to somebody who feels not worthy and like they're not important, I would tell them the opposite. They are very important to society and to those who love them, and they will be loved even if they don't feel it. There is somebody who's going to show them care, compassion, and have a heart. And just when this life gets you down, you can always go to the Lord. You can go to those people who love you, and they can bring you up when you are down, because it happens to all of us. We all have a purpose in life. We all have a direction, and we just need to hold on to it. We need to believe that, and we just got to maintain a positive attitude throughout all the negativity and toxicity that's out there, which relates to it. There is a greater purpose for each and every one of us, and my message would be just that we just have to support each other. We have to lean on each other. We have to love one another, and we got to be there for one another as well. That's also very significant to the
Mm-hmm.
message. And just allow the Lord to operate and take care of whatever issues. But once again, we also got to do the work ourselves. It can't always be on God. It's got to be on us and what we're doing, and we got to be active. It's got to be actions more than just words. Words are great, but both those things need to apply. And but we need to start speaking in a positive tone because our voices have power, and if we're always negative, no wonder we're creating this environment that's not healthy. We've got to
Mm-hmm.
start speaking against it and speaking over it, and letting Jesus have the authority. And once again, I'm not pushing my faith on anybody because I love non-believers and believers alike, but I want to encourage everybody from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, from all across the world, and whoever may be watching this program. You are loved and you are important and you're enough. Credit to Waylon for that statement and Ashley for all they're doing with standing strong. And exactly, we must stand strong. I love the title. It's perfect for your
Thank you,
podcast.
Tyler. Well
Mm-hmm.
said. Well said. Ashley, before we wrap this up with Tyler, do you have any last things you would like to say or ask?
Thank you very much for joining and sharing your positivity and thoughts with us, Tyler. That's wonderful. And it's been a pleasure getting to know you more.
Oh, you're very welcome, and it's nice to meet you, Ashley. And yeah, these have been just terrific questions, and definitely cover a lot of ground from a more serious tone to ones where it's recreational, and I think it's a great variety, and it's always an inspiring conversation. So, Waylon, Ashley, thank you, and you're very welcome. Anytime I get to do this kind of podcast, it's refreshing. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, we thank you so much for tuning in to the 72nd episode of Standing Strong with our special guest, Tyler Peters. For everything Standing Strong, visit the official website at standingstrongpodcast.com and our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Waylon Myers for all of the 4 episodes. Until next time on the 73rd episode, we will catch you all next time.
Thank you for watching the Standing Strong podcast with Waylon and Ashley. And now, a great shout out for our all-star team behind the scenes. Standing Strong's opening and commercial commentator, Tyler Peters. And our very own guest introducer, Steve Fox. And last but not least, our musical composer, Austin Sire, aka Ace Hire of Daydreamers Entertainment. This message has been brought to you by Standing Strong with Waylon and Ashley. Stand strong and spread positivity wherever you go.